I got a story here. What kind of animal is this?
It's pig.
A pig. It's a very pushy, bully pig. Until he met a sandwich.
Oh, I bet you.
This is a witch, and she lives in the sand, and that makes her a
Sandwich.
yeah. And Pinkerton Pig will be sorry he ever wanted to be first. Now see, Pinkerton wore a big button on his shirt that says number 1. And he always had to be first. And if any pig got in his way, he'd tie the pig's tails together. And he'd push a pig out of the way, and kick a pig and stomp on a pig. Oh, he was a mean, nasty, bully pig. And he always had to be first. When the pigs were out on the playground, and they went on the slide, Pinkerton would yell, "Me first!" And he'd climb up over the other pig's back so he could be first down the slide. And when it was reading time, Pinkerton said, "Me first!" And he put his nose in the book so none of the other pigs could look at the pictures. And when it was lunchtime, oh, he was a hungry pig. He yelled, "Me first!" And he piled up his tray so high he couldn't see where he was going. And sometimes he didn't even leave any food for any of the other pigs. Now one day it was field trip day, and the bus pulled up to take the pigs to the beach, and the bus driver said, "All aboard!" And do you know what Pinkerton said?
Me first. Me first.
"Me first!" And he pushed his way onto the bus and sat in the front seat. And when they got to the beach, the bus driver said, "Everyone out!" And Pinkerton was first out of the bus and first in the water. And then somebody yelled, "Hey, there are whales out to sea!" And everybody wanted to look at the whales, but Pinkerton said, "Me first!" And he climbed on the snouts of 2 other pigs so he could look out at the whales. And then it was lunchtime. Pinkerton jumped in the basket before any of the other pigs could get there, and he ate everything. He didn't leave a crumb for another pig. And then it was hiking time, and they got ready to hike down the beach, and they got in line, but Pinkerton yelled, "Me first!" And he pushed his way to the head of the line. And as they walked down the beach, he heard a voice. It said, "Oh, would you care for a sandwich?" Pinkerton was hungry again, and he said, "Oh, yes, me first, me first. I would care for a sandwich." And he started trotting down the beach fast, and he heard that voice again. It said, "Who would care for a sandwich?" And Pinkerton yelled, me first, I would care for a sandwich. And now he was running down the beach. He could see that sandwich in his eyes in front of him. 2 tomatoes, 7 pickles, peanut butter, jelly, a big slab of cheese, mayo, mustard, ketchup, anything a pig would want between 2 big slices of bread. And he yelled, me first, I would care for a sandwich. And he got to a sand dune, and he ran up that sand dune just as fast as he could. And when he got to the top, he tripped, and he rolled down the sand dune. And when he got to the bottom, there he was, face to face with a strange-looking creature. She had green skin and a wart on her nose and hair on her toes and a broomstick and a pointed purple hat.
Give me the wrapper.
And that creature cackled. Me first, I can hear you coming a mile away. Me first. Well, I guess you really would care for a sandwich, wouldn't you? And Pinkerton just jumped up and down. Oh, yes, me first, I would care for a sandwich. Me first. Good, said the creature. You can care for a sandwich. And Pinkerton looked at her and said, well, where's my sandwich? The little creature just curtsied and said, you're looking at her. Pinkerton, for once he was speechless. And the witch explained, you see, I'm a witch, and I live in the sand. And that makes me a sandwich. And you said you wanted to be first to care for a sandwich, and you will be first to care for a sandwich. Now come on. And that witch was surprisingly strong for such a little creature. She grabbed Pinkerton by the sleeve and dragged him down the beach and up to her sand castle. And she opened the gate to the sand castle, grabbed him by the collar, dragged him in, slammed that gate shut, and locked it. Now, my pink, pushy, plush, bully pig, you said you wanted to be first to care for a sandwich. Now you can be first to care for me. I'm a sandwich. And the first thing you can do is powder my nose. Powder the wart on my nose. Pinkerton said, I don't want to powder the wart on your nose. And the witch said, well, maybe you'd rather I turned you into a crab. Now, Pinkerton didn't want to be turned into a crab, so he powdered the wart on the witch's nose. And then she said, now, you can be first to comb the hair on my toes. Pinkerton didn't want to be turned into a crab, so he combed the hair on the witch's toes. And now there are a lot more things you can do to care for me. You can feed me my lunch, spaghetti and meatballs. Now that was Pinkerton's favorite. But the witch said, don't you dare take one bite of my lunch or I'll turn you into a crab. And Pinkerton didn't want to be turned into a crab. So he got the witch's lunch and her bucket and got her shovel and shoveled that whole bucket full of spaghetti and meatballs into her mouth, and the witch rubbed her tummy.
Much more to go.
That was good.
That road done.
Now it's time to do my laundry.
And
And Pinkerton had to wash all of the witch's laundry. And then it was time to do her dishes. She hadn't washed a single dish in a month. And Pinkerton had to wash every dish. And then sweep out my sand castle. And there were lots and lots of rooms in the sand castle. And Pinkerton had to sweep all the sand out of every room in the sand castle. And then when her laundry was done, it was time to hang it up. And Pinkerton had to hang all her laundry on the lawn. And then she said, "My hair's a mess. Curl my hair for me. You said you would take care of me. You said you would care for a witch. Now, curl my hair." So Pinkerton had to curl the witch's hair, and then she went, "Oh, it's nap time." And she lay down in her bed of sand and said,
It's okay.
"Cover me up."
Let's get over it. I've already gone.
And Pinkerton looked around. He couldn't find a blanket. And he said, "With my sand blanket, of course." So Pinkerton had to cover the witch with a blanket of sand. And then she said, "Story time now. Tell me a good night story." Pinkerton was so tired, he couldn't think of a single story. He just said, "I don't know any stories." Said the witch. "Then make one up." "I can't," said Pinkerton. "Well," said the witch, "then I'll help ya. Here's a star. Once upon a time, there was a pink, plush, bully, pokey pig. And what happened next?" "The pig met a witch in the sand." "And not just a witch," said the sand witch. "A wise witch." "Yes, yes," said Pinkerton. "A wise witch." And then she said, "Not just a wise witch, a beautiful wise witch." "Yes," said Pinkerton. "A beautiful wise witch." And what did the witch teach the bully pig? Would you like to give me that? Thank you. And Pinkerton said the sandwich taught the pig that being first was not the same as being best. "Aha," said the witch. "I guess you've learned your lesson." "Oh, yes," said Pinkerton. "I've learned my lesson." "Well, then you can go, and thanks so much for all the care." The witch opened the gate, and Pinkerton ran out as fast as he could, and he didn't even hear the witch. "Hey, Pinkerton, you forgot your sandwich," and she held out a plate with a sandwich with 2 tomatoes, 7 pickles, peanut butter, and jelly, a big slab of cheese, mayo, mustard, ketchup, anything a pig would want between 2 slices of rye bread. But Pinkerton wasn't looking back. He was running down the beach just as fast as he could.
It looks like he's looking back.
And he got to the bus just as all the other pigs were getting on the bus. And Pinkerton was last on the bus. And he didn't mind being last because he had learned a very important lesson that being first is not being best. And Pinkerton never ever wanted to be first again. He tried to be best, but he never wanted to be first. And now you know the story of Pinkerton Pig and the sandwich.